The two of them held each other, breathing heavily. Her body was awakening from a long slumber, crying out. How much she had missed this between guilt and desire, between sorrow and pleasure, on a forbidden boundary. They comforted each other's loneliness. I know this is strange. I know this is wrong. But I can't hold back anymore. Tears flowed from Joy's eyes. I can't live without you either. When 52-year-old Han Joy heard this confession from her 35-year-old son-in-law Min, she realized she felt the same way. But this story didn't begin that night. Everything started in a much darker place. Before the story begins, please subscribe and like. Thank you. The day her daughter Jiwoo died in a car accident, Joy's world died with her. A truck that ignored the signal on the way to work hit Jiwoo's small car. And by the time they arrived at the hospital, everything was already over. Her young 28-year-old daughter grew cold like that. At the funeral home, Joy couldn't shed even a single tear. Next to her, Min wailed like crazy. But she just held her daughter's cooling hand. It wasn't that her tear ducts had dried up. She learned then that grief too great doesn't even allow tears. Joy, Min, and Jiwoo. They had lived together for 5 years. Jiwoo and Min got married when they were 25 and 30. For Joy, who lived alone after divorcing her husband, the young couple moved into her house instead of getting their own place. Min readily agreed. For him, who lost his parents in a car accident as a child, and grew up in an orphanage, family was a desperate dream. Jiwoo had tried to have a child with Min. But Min's job was unstable. And the two promised to have a child when they had more financial security. And before that promise could be kept, Jiwoo left. After the funeral, Joy and Min became ghosts. The first year was literally hell. Joy sat in front of Jiwoo's door all day. And Min quit his job and locked himself in his room. When they occasionally passed each other in the hallway, they walked by with their heads down, avoiding each other. Just looking at each other reminded them of Jiwoo and made it hard to breathe. In the second year, Min gradually returned to daily life. He got a job at a small IT company and started commuting regularly. Joy was the same. She went to the supermarket, cooked, and did laundry. But it was just pretending to be alive. Their souls were still frozen on that day 3 years ago. In the third winter, something began to change. At first, Joy didn't know what it was. She just felt her heart flutter strangely whenever she saw Min. Min had changed too. The dazed young man who lost his 32-year-old wife, was now a mature 35-year-old man. Thanks to the exercise he started to overcome his grief. His body had become solid, broad shoulders, a firm chest, and strong arms. One day when Min came home, sweating in a sleeveless workout outfit, Joy thought her heart would stop. This wasn't the way to look at a son-in-law. It was a woman's gaze looking at a man. Joy was angry at herself. A 52-year-old widow. Feeling such emotions looking at her dead daughter's husband. Every night she sat in front of Jiwoo's portrait and begged for forgiveness. But during the day, Min's image kept appearing before her eyes. His broad back, the distinctive masculine scent. Whenever he passed through the living room, his occasional casual touch. Everything drove Joy crazy. Joy had been living completely forgetting that she was a woman. For nearly 20 years after divorcing her husband, she had lived only as a mother. But now her body was awakening like a traitor. When she woke up in the middle of the night, her lower abdomen felt heavy and hot. Looking at the light seeping from Min's room, she imagined. What was Min doing in that room? Could he be lonely too? Could he be longing for someone's warmth? And at the end of that imagination, there was always a forbidden scene. Joy buried her face in the pillow and groaned. This is wrong. But her body wouldn't listen. Minute was also changing somehow. Joy could feel it. Sometimes Min's gaze would linger somewhere on her body, and then quickly fall away. His eyes gazing at her back when Joy was doing the dishes. His gaze that lingered on Joy's chest when they accidentally met in the hallway. Joy was 52, but her figure was still good. Full breasts and still firm hips. Every morning looking in the mirror, she thought. She wasn't finished as a woman yet. And that thought tormented her even more. That day was a particularly snowy night. 3 years ago, on the day Jiwoo died, it snowed like this too. Unable to sleep, Joy lay in bed looking at the ceiling, thinking of Jiwoo. But strangely, Jiwoo's face wouldn't come clearly to mind. Instead, what filled her mind was Min's image. Joy was thirsty. No, thirst was an excuse. She wanted to see Min. She wanted to confirm his existence. When she carefully opened the door and went into the hallway, the living room light was on. And Min was sitting at the dining table. A bottle of soju was in front of him. And he was blankly looking at the snow outside the window. Joy's heart thumped. Minute's profile was so beautiful. His outline reflected in the snow light outside the window, was clear like a sculpture. Joy watched him like that for a long time. How lonely must he be? How hard must it be for him? And how much must he long for someone's warmth? Joy's feet moved on their own. Minute didn't know she was approaching. When Joy stood right next to him, he finally turned his head. Their eyes met. At that moment, Joy knew, Minute's eyes were different from before. There was not just sadness but other emotions mixed in. Longing, loneliness, and forbidden desire. Joy's voice trembled. Min, you should sleep. For the first time, she called him like a son. Min lowered his head without answering, his shoulders were trembling slightly. Joy instinctively knew. This young man was breaking down right now. Her hand moved on its own and wrapped around Min's shoulders. Minute's body flinched. But he didn't push her away. Rather, he burrowed deeper into her embrace. Joy held Min's head to her chest. His rough breath touched her chest. His hot feeling through the layers of clothing. A shiver ran through Joy's entire body. This wasn't a mother holding a son. It was a woman holding a man. Min's hand slowly moved to wrap around Joy's waist. Joy held her breath. His large hand was completely surrounding her waist. How long had it been since she'd felt a man's touch? Joy's body began to respond. Her heart pounded and her lower abdomen grew hot. This is wrong. Her mind was crying out that way, but her body was already surrendering. Minute raised his head. Their faces were too close. Joy saw the same longing as hers in Min's eyes. Time seemed to stop. The two looked at each other like that. Min's hand slowly rose and cupped Joy's cheek, his hand was hot and rough. Tears flowed from Joy's eyes. Whether it was from sadness or another emotion, she didn't know. Min whispered, "Mother." But that title already held a different meaning. Instead of answering, Joy closed her eyes. It was the only permission she could give. Min's face slowly drew closer, and Joy felt his breath, his scent mixed with alcohol and masculine fragrance. And finally, his lips touched her forehead. It was a careful and trembling kiss. Joy's whole body ignited. The sensation she'd forgotten for nearly 20 years came explosively alive. Min's lips slowly descended to her eyelids, to her cheeks. Joy felt like fire was igniting everywhere his lips passed. This wasn't comfort but forbidden desire. His lips were trembling right in front of Joy's lips. Both of them knew that crossing that line would be irreversible. Tears continued to flow from Joy's eyes. Jiwoo, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But you are so lonely too, it's so hard. Joy's hand moved to wrap around the back of Min's neck. And she pulled Min toward her. When their lips finally touched, the world disappeared. Only the two of them existed. Min lifted Joy up, he headed to his room while holding Joy. Passing through the hallway, Joy saw Jiwoo's room. It felt like her daughter was cursing her from beyond the closed door. But Joy closed her eyes. Just for tonight, I want to live as a woman. Min's door closed, and the two finally crossed the forbidden line. Joy felt deep emotions in Min's embrace. A man's weight, a man's warmth, a man's intensity felt for the first time in 20 years. Min treated Joy carefully, as if she were fragile porcelain. But his desire was not careful. All the loneliness suppressed for 3 years poured out explosively. Joy was the same. Her body was awakening from a long sleep and gaining life. How much she had missed this, how much she had needed this. The two wanted each other. Between guilt and desire, between sorrow and comfort, on a forbidden boundary. They were soothing each other's loneliness. Min's strong arms completely wrapped around Joy's body, and Joy melted completely in his embrace. She knew this was wrong, but it was too sweet. Too desperate and earnest. The two breathed heavily while holding each other. Min brushed back Joy's sweat-dampened hair. His touch was so gentle, and Joy buried her face in his chest. Listening to his heartbeat, Joy felt alive. For the first time in 3 years, she felt she was a woman. Min whispered, "Mother, I feel like I'm going crazy tonight." His voice trembled. Joy couldn't answer. Because she felt the same. But one thing was certain. That there was no turning back now. That they had crossed a forbidden line. And that this wasn't the end. Outside the window, snow was still falling. As if to cover their sins, or to hide their secret from the world. The quiet, pure white snow was covering everything. After that night, their relationship completely changed. But they didn't know yet where this forbidden love would eventually take them. 3 months passed after that night. During the day, Joy and Min were still mother-in-law and son-in-law. But at night they continued their forbidden relationship, going between each other's rooms. The guilt remained, but loneliness no longer tormented them. Min had completely changed. He no longer stared blankly into space as before, and began eating properly. He worked hard at the company and even received a promotion offer. Joy was the same. Her face in the mirror had vitality, and a soft light shone in her eyes. The 52-year-old woman was coming back to life. Spending every night with Min, her body was growing younger. Everywhere his touch reached, sensations from 20 years ago were revived. But they were careful. Outside they never held hands and didn't exchange glances. Both knew that this secret must not be revealed to the world. One Saturday afternoon, the doorbell rang. When Joy opened the door, a beautiful woman in her late 20s was standing there. Tall with a slender figure and long hair, she looked like a model. "Hello. Is Min here? Who are you?" "Yes, I'm Kim Sua from his company. We went to the same university." Sua smiled brightly and showed the gift box in her hand. "I came because I was worried since he hasn't been answering calls lately." Joy's heart sank. "He's inside now." Sua came inside, and Joy observed her. Young and beautiful. The perfect age to match Min. Firm figure, smooth skin, shining long hair. Joy suddenly felt her 52-year-old body was shabby. "Min, you have a visitor," Joy called toward Min's room. The door opened and Min came out. Seeing Sua, his face stiffened. "Sua, what brings you here?" "Min, I couldn't reach you, and haven't seen you at the company, so I was worried." Sua smiled brightly and approached. Joy watched them. They matched so well together. Same generation, similar age, a beautiful couple. "Have a seat. I'll bring tea." Joy headed to the kitchen. From the living room, she could hear their conversation. "Min, you look so much better, something seems different." "Oh, really?" "Yes. Before you looked so troubled, but lately your expression has brightened." Joy prepared tea cups and listened carefully. "Actually, there's a reason I came today." "What is it?" Sua's voice trembled a little. I like you, Min, for a long time." Joy's hand stopped. "I had a crush on you since university. But I gave up when you married Senior Jiwoo." Silence flowed. "But it's been 3 years now. I think it's time for you to make a new start." Joy placed the tea cups on a tray and headed to the living room. Sua was looking at Min with earnest eyes. "Min, please meet me just once, let's go see a movie." As Joy approached, Sua quickly closed her mouth. Min jumped up and took the tray from Joy, his hands were trembling, and the three drank tea awkwardly. Sua spoke to Joy. "It must be hard for you living alone, mother. It's good that Min is here." "Yes. Min takes good care of me. Min is really kind, everyone at the company likes him." Sua's gaze turned to Min. It was the gaze of a woman in love. Joy's chest felt tight. About an hour passed. Sua stood up. "Then I'll be going. Please think about what I said." "Sua?" "It's okay. You can take your time with the answer. I can wait." Sua smiled brightly and headed to the entrance. Minute followed to see her out. Outside the door, their soft voices could be heard. "Min, I'm serious, I really like you." "I'm sorry, Sua." "No, it's okay. Please think about it slowly. I'll wait for your call." The front door closed. When Min returned, Joy was washing the dishes. "Mother." Silence flowed. Joy opened her mouth. "She's a good girl." "Yes?" "Sua is a good girl, pretty, young, and perfect for you." Min's face turned pale. "What are you saying? You should date a girl like that. Not a woman like me." Joy's voice trembled. Minute approached and grabbed Joy's shoulders. "I don't want to." "Why?" Sua is perfect. Young, beautiful, and close to your age. I like you, mother. Min's eyes were earnest. Don't talk crazy. I'm 52, I'm 17 years older than you. I don't care. It matters. What will people say? That a mother-in-law is dating her dead daughter's husband. Tears flowed from Joy's eyes. I don't care about people. I do? I feel like I'll go crazy thinking about Jiwoo. Joy pushed Min away. Let's stop now. No. Min, please. I can't. I won't. Min pulled Joy into his arms. I can't live without you. Sua is a good girl. I admit it. But I don't love her. Min cupped Joy's face with both hands. I love you. As a woman. Joy's chest felt like it would burst. At first I was confused too. Is this right? Is this love? Tears flowed from Min's eyes. But now I'm certain. I truly love you. What about you, mother? How do you feel about me? Joy couldn't answer. Of course she loved him. Madly. But the moment she spoke those words, it felt like everything would become real. Min whispered again, please tell me honestly. How do you feel about me? Tears poured from Joy's eyes. I love you too. At that moment, Min pulled Joy toward him. Their lips collided intensely. This kiss was different. It wasn't the careful kiss of that first night. This was confirmation. It was a declaration and a vow. Min's lips began to explore Joy's lips. Rough, hot, and desperate. Joy melted completely into his kiss. Her hand wrapped around the back of Min's neck and pulled him deeper. Min's hand wrapped around Joy's waist and pushed her against the wall. Joy's back touched the cold wall, but she didn't care. Only Min's hot lips filled her world. Min briefly pulled his lips away and whispered. I only need you. I don't need anything else. And the kiss continued again. This time deeper and hotter. Min's lips descended to Joy's neck. He gently bit her earlobe and planted hot kisses on her nape. Joy gasped and gripped his shoulders. Min, at her moan, Min became rougher. His hand traveled up Joy's back and gripped her hair. And he tilted her head back slightly and poured deeper kisses. Joy surrendered completely. Before this young man's intense love, before his hot desire, before her own burning emotions. The two looked at each other while breathing heavily. Min's lips were red and swollen, and his eyes were burning with desire. Joy was the same. Her cheeks were flushed red, and her lips were moist from his kisses. I'll call Sua tomorrow, Min said. What will you say? That I'm grateful but must decline. That I have someone I love. Joy's heart sank. She couldn't believe those words meant her. Don't tell her who that person is. Of course. This is our secret. Min gently kissed Joy's forehead. At that moment, Joy realized. This wasn't a dream. This young man truly wanted her. But someday I want to tell the world. That this person is my love. Tears burst from Joy's eyes. From gratitude. From guilt. From being so happy. And at the same time, from being so afraid. Her heart tore at the thought that this pure man would face the world's condemnation because of her. What does it matter? We're in love. Min lifted Joy up. She wrapped her arms around his neck in surprise. Being held like a princess for the first time in decades, was both embarrassing and thrilling. "What are you doing? I'm taking you to bed." Minut's eyes burned hotly. In those eyes was not just desire but earnestness. Afraid, excited, trembling. She felt herself awakening as a woman, forgotten for over 20 years. Minute headed to his room while holding her. Joy buried her face in his neck. She could hear a heartbeat. She couldn't tell if it was his or hers. Minute kicked the door closed with his foot and carefully laid her down on the bed. As if handling fragile porcelain. That carefulness melted Joy's heart even more. Minute leaned over her. The distance between them became as close as a palm's width. Joy felt his hot breath and closed her eyes. "Do you know how beautiful you are?" Min's voice trembled. A trembling filled with sincerity. Tears flowed from Joy's eyes again. Even if it was a lie, it was good. She wanted to believe she was beautiful, at least in this moment. "I love everything about you." His hand slowly began to undo Joy's clothing. Joy instinctively grabbed his hand, with trembling hands. "Mean, my body isn't what it used to be." It was a confession mixed with shame and fear. She felt shabby compared to 27-year-old Sua's elastic young body. "That's why I like it even more." Minute kissed her hand. "Everything about you is perfect to me." Joy burst into tears. This man knew how to soothe her wounds. His touch became bolder. But it was still careful. Joy's clothes were removed one by one. She closed her eyes tightly in embarrassment. But Min just looked at her for a long time. "You're beautiful." His voice trembled roughly. Joy opened her eyes. There was no lie in Min's eyes. It was the gaze of a man who truly wanted her. She decided to set aside guilt and fear for a moment. Min's lips started at Joy's neck and slowly descended, past her collarbone to her chest. Joy trembled and gripped his hair. It felt like electricity flowing through her entire body. "Min?" His name escaped like a moan. This sensation, forgotten for 20 years, was both strange and missed. Min treated her even more passionately, his hands caressed every corner of her body. As if discovering treasure for the first time, as if trying to remember forever. Joy melted completely. Reason disappeared and only instinct remained. The long lonely years crumbled in an instant. "I need you," Min whispered in her ear, a voice dripping with earnestness. Instead of answering, Joy pulled him close. She couldn't hold back anymore. She couldn't refuse anymore. The two finally became one. Rather, it felt like an empty corner of her heart was being filled. Minute's movements were careful at first. As if afraid she might get hurt. But when Joy pulled him deeper, Min couldn't hold back anymore either. The two wanted each other. As if soothing loneliness, filling longing, confirming love. Joy fell into deep emotion with Min. She wasn't ashamed. Rather, she felt free. It felt like all the emotions suppressed for decades were exploding. "I love you," Minute whispered between rough breaths. At those words, tears streamed from Joy's eyes. "I love you too," she answered with a trembling voice. It was the moment she acknowledged this feeling for the first time. Time seemed to stop. It seemed like only the two of them existed in the world. The climax approached. Minute held her even more tightly. It was so intense it was almost frightening. How much time passed? The two were catching their rough breaths while holding each other. Their sweat-dampened bodies clung together. Minute brushed back Joy's sweat-dampened hair. That touch was so tender. Minute hugged her tightly and whispered, "Whether you're 52 or 62, it doesn't matter. I love everything about you." Tears flowed from Joy's eyes again. This man was too good for her. "Thank you." "For what?" "For loving me like this." Minute wiped away her tears and kissed her gently. "This is just the beginning. I'll love you like this for the rest of my life." The next morning dawned. Joy woke up in Min's embrace. It wasn't a dream. Minute's body heat was enveloping her. The two looked at each other silently. Minute spoke first. "I'll call Sua." Joy nodded tensely. Minute picked up his phone and made the call. "Sua, it's me." "Mean," Sua's bright voice could be heard. Joy's chest tightened. "About what you said yesterday. I'm sorry, but I can't accept your feelings." Silence flowed over the phone. Joy held her breath and listened. "Why? Am I not good enough?" Sua's voice trembled. "No. You're a really good person, but I already have someone I love." "Who is it?" "I can't say. But it's someone I truly love." A long silence flowed. Joy's heart pounded madly. "I understand, be happy, Mean." Sua's voice grew small. "I hope you meet someone good too, Sua." The call ended. Mean sighed and looked at Joy. Joy pulled him into an embrace. "Thank you." "For what?" "For choosing me." Minute cupped Joy's face with both hands and poured deep kisses. "I will always choose you." And he got out of bed and knelt down. He took out a small box from his pocket. "What's this?" Joy's heart pounded madly. "Open it." With trembling hands, when she opened the box, there was a ring inside. A simple but elegant diamond ring. "Mean?" Joy's voice trembled. "Joy, will you become my wife?" Joy's breath stopped. Tears streamed down. Minute's eyes sparkled. "The age difference, people's views, none of it matters. I want to spend my life with you." Tears poured from Joy's eyes. Tears mixed with joy, fear, and gratitude. "Yes, let's get married." Minute's face brightened radiantly. The two laughed and cried while embracing each other. 6 months later, Joy and Min held a quiet wedding. There were almost no guests. But the two were happy. They went to Jeju Island for their honeymoon. At a small pension overlooking the sea. They spent their first night as a real married couple. The world may not understand. But Joy and Min finally found happiness in their own way. What did you think of Joy and Min's courageous love? It was a story showing that true love has no age, relationship, or boundaries. Please leave your thoughts in the comments. Subscriptions and likes are a great help in creating more touching stories. Thank you for watching.